Hey everybody, just a little driveway extension here, DIY. You could do it yourself, very easy. Extending a driveway using pavers, 60mm pavers, and there'll be 4x8. And first thing you want to do is measure up the area you want to do. You want to be about 6 inches bigger than the area you're going to set in. This way the base is bigger than the set, and also you have room to work. And then you want big chunks of sod when you put back in, not real thin chunks. Make sure you always measure twice, cut nice straight lines, and this way to keep your project looking good throughout the project, and it'll go back together easier. We dug it out. We're using a 6-inch base here, and here in South Carolina we have to tamp the base because it is clay and topsoil down there, and it just gives it more support. You'll see we had a sprinkler that we had to move to the left that was right in the middle, and we handled that. Now you want to put your base in at 2 inches at a time at a minimum. If you're going to hand tamp it, do it less. Keep it real thin, hand tamp, and you'll get good strength. We're going to use a machine on this one today, but you can hand tamp it, but you can just do less at a time. And here he goes, tamping it all down. And basically the first couple runs, he doesn't need any marks or lines or strings. But see here, he's getting to finishing the set. There's actual string to your left, and then there's chalk lines on that concrete that you can't see from the camera. And then he has that string to get him close, because after this there's still another step to it. Now he's going to go and clean out all his rocks, things that might get in the way of his set. And he's preparing for his final tamp. So in the final tamp, he's going to use a hand tamper, and I'm going to help him out. So he needs a little bit of crusher run there, and basically your paver base, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to just throw little shovelfuls into the holes. I'm going to lead him. If you're a good helper, you'll keep him fed, like where he doesn't have to ask for it. And then here we go, we're going to put our lockers in. I'm going to nail them down using landscape pins, and these lockers will hold the project in place. And here he is, he's using a jig just so it makes it nice and tight. So kind of make a jig out of your pavers, and there it is, nice and smooth. The better you have this portion, see how smooth that is? There's no dips, valleys. It's right on our chalk line. Our locks are nice and strong, so I won't have to use a lot of concrete on the edges, because if it doesn't have a good lock or a good set, you'll have to put concrete on the edges of it, but we won't have to do that there. Now he's going to go and put in, this is what they call paver sand, setting sand, depends on where you're from. And in this case I bought it by the bag because I didn't want the extra left over. I didn't need a ton of it. And then he's going to put the product in the area, and then after he gets enough product in there, he's going to screed it off. We don't have a video of him screeding it. Basically, you just want to use a really straight PVC pipe that's 1 inch in diameter, and then he'll run a screeding, like a 2x4 or something, over top of 2 of them, and then it just smooths out the products and hand fills the portions when he takes his pipes out. So him as the setter, he has to get it all ready, and here he is setting. We use 2 different processes for setting. On this one we're going to do a soft set, because on this driveway there's things you want to do with a driveway. You either want to slope it away into the grass. On this one it goes straight downhill. You can't tell by the video of how much grade there is on this driveway. So this driveway, all the water runs straight down right into the road. So the pavers are going to basically do close to the same. But if you want to keep it into the grass, you use your bubble. That's what the lines are for. You'll see he's above the concrete still, so he's not doing a hard set, but he's still above it, because you'll see when he comes back later he's going to have to do his real set, but that doesn't happen until you get to the next step. And as he goes, he's always going to keep checking, make sure he doesn't lose anything, because You want to look at it from a ground level, and then you'll start seeing. Your eye will tell you how it looks. Here he has a great set going on, I could tell. The camera doesn't make it right, but you'll be able to see how good in person it is. And then he's a lot farther down. His set's looking really good. It's nice and tight. Everything's tight inside the locks. And then he's still running above the concrete. Now in here we just filled in a little common area. You only need on walkways and common areas like 4 inches of the base. Definitely okay to hand tamp it. We hand tamp this. Same 1 inch of sand, same process. He wants to be above before his set. Now here I am putting the poly sand. Poly sand is basically a sand mixed with polymers that once water gets on it, it activates, turns. First it's like a rubberized concrete, but after time it turns more like concrete. And it seems like I have a lot of sand there, but I don't, because I have not tamped that yet, or he hasn't. So after we put that in, we'll hand tamp it, and it'll start falling in the cracks, the holes, the voids, and it makes it like one solid piece. And there I'm filling it. And if you're tamping and the same spot keeps getting filled, then you didn't do your base really good. Something happened. But with here, you'll see after a couple, 2-3 tamps, it'll be solid, no more voids. Then after that, you want to blow it off with a blower. You want to make it really clean. First, the paver, you don't want the stuff all over the pavers, you just want it in the cracks. And then when you apply the water, you don't want to make it run, and you don't want to like pressure it. You just want to, kind of like it's raining, like it gets soaking wet. And you just want to get it nice and soaking wet. And then here he is tamping it down. And then this all came out perfectly, exactly smooth with all portions of the concrete. And we just throw a little shirt on there and just we're crazy. And then here we go. That set is done. You'll still see the poly sand in areas it shouldn't, which gets clean later on. That's actually the last thing in the process, because you want to wait till it dries and just scrape it off with a screwdriver. And then here we go. And then after it dries, you're going to put your sod back in, so you have nice big chunks of sod so it lives. And then basically you want your poly dry, because it will contaminate it, and the poly's like a grout too. There's different colors and that type of stuff. And at the end, you want to go through with a sponge, and just take a damp, big contractor sponge and blow off the dirt first from the sod, and then just go through it with a damp sponge and look your project over, sponge it out, scrape some of the poly sand if there's extra out. I do it when it's dry, because then I can just blow it off with a blower. I don't have to chase it around. And then that portion there looks good. And then this looks good. And then in here there's a little extra poly sand that I got to get rid of, and I wait till that dries. And then it's a really nice set in there. Everything is just dead on the money with the driveway. Just remember, this is not level, that stuff. It's true. It's true to what the concrete, to where the concrete is. And this is, you can't tell, but it's all sloped down. There's a big pitch right down there. And the project's all done. I'm proud of my son. He's 27 years old. He'll be 28. He's really good at what he does. I'm proud of him. I'm glad to help him. And if you guys have any questions or you need any help, just give us a comment, and we'll give you our number. And thank you all. Happy landscaping. I hope this video helped.